Okay folks, Hubbard here with another video, and this is simple rig construction for some easy money. And that's not to say that this technique is bad by any means. It's just super duper simple. And I'm gonna show you real quick, some of your favorite guys out there use this technique. And in my opinion, Carlson, he probably does it. He's one of the best guys at this. You can see that there. Slinger does it here in this rig. He adds a little bit more material. But Krunkelstein, same style rig right here. Punty, yeah, could be cleaner, but hey, and even guess who? Me. Yep, we all do it, folks. So you can pimp this trick out as hard as you want, or you can keep it as simple as you want. And this whole rig, you're gonna have to sort of pardon my filming. I originally filmed it in slow motion by accident, so I had to edit that up. But this entire rig took me less than 18 minutes to make. And that is from complete start to finish. That's even including straightening out this punty on this 50 by 3.5. This point on the 50 by 3.5, all the way from start to finish. At the end of this video, I'm actually gonna show you guys a super dope trick. And so one of the main downfalls of this technique is to have really good solid air pressure at the end, because essentially what you're doing is you're making a can and a stem, and you're popping a hole and using beeswax and a dummy joint to shape out the negative hole that your converter joint is going to go into. And a lot of times in doing that, whether you're using a brass tool, a graphite tool, or a dummy joint with beeswax, you can accidentally not have like perfect air pressure. And so that's a lot of the reason the guys will use, like the banger hanger style with the pre-made joints is for that reason. But this, you can do it really quickly, and I will show you a really clutch trick at the end of this video on how you can get perfect air pressure. So folks, it's literally, this rig is so simple. So in my one hand, I have 19 mil, and you see I'm putting an earplug in there so I can have air pressure on the 19 mil, which is going to be my stem, and then I have my 50 by 3.5 on the end of a pulled point, which is going to be my can. And it's really that simple, folks. Okay, so now you can see that I have my stem welded to my can, and I'm taking off the pulled point on the 50 by 3.5, and I have removed my earplug. And so now it's literally as simple, it's like a blank, right? I have my handle and my can. And what you see me doing there is I'm coning out the bottom. I have extra material on the bottom of the 3.5. The 50 by 3.5, and see I'm coning it out right there, and I pointed to where I'm gonna add my 8 mil punty, and that just gives me a little bit of extra leverage, so I can go back and I can rework that original neck weld where I welded my 19 mil tubing to my 50 by 3.5. That, because I have like small hands, I'm a shorter dude with shorter arm length, and small hands, that weld can be a little bit tricky to spin by hand. So I'm adding that 8 mil punty, and you can see I'm just gonna rework that seal just a little bit, make it all nice and crispy. And then I'm gonna get into shaping my can. And so in order to start shaping the can, first I'll start by removing obviously my 8 mil punty at the bottom. And then I'm gonna heat that 50 by 5, and if you, just a second here, you're gonna notice the angle, how I'm tilting it upwards. It's the same way I would as if I were gathering clear or material to make a marble. Like when you hold the glass upward, obviously it falls down and gathers on itself. So doing that and holding it at that sort of upward angle while you roll it in your Elmarver will give you that beaker shape. That's how you get that sort of beaker shape on tubes. or rigs or whatever. If you're doing it at a lathe, same sort of thing. You paddle it at an angle. If you're doing it at the bench, you get below the torch, point it upwards in your L-marver, and give it a little puff and a paddle, and that will give you that sort of beaker cone shape. And again, folks, like I said, this is just a super quickie, simple rig. The main point and focus of this video is the processes and style of the construction. Obviously, when you guys do this for yourselves, if you want to make the same product and wholesale them all day, I don't give a shit. But I encourage you to add your own sort of decoration, add your own style, whatever not that makes it sort of unique to you. This is super simple. A lot of proto guys bang this piece out, the same product all day long. But like you saw earlier in the video, you can totally trick it out and make them as heady as you want. And the overall construction is the same. So there you go. There's my shape. And I'm gonna pop the hole now on the rim where I welded the 19 mil to the 50 by 3.5. And that is another reason that I punted up originally with that 8 mil and made sure that that neck weld was extra clean and crispy. And so here's a little trick, folks. I'm taking a solid rod of 16 mil and getting a little gather. Now this is a really cool trick. I'm gonna get the glob molten hot and I'm gonna blow through the molten glass. Watch this. Add it and puff right through. And what that does is it gives you just a little bit of extra material. It thickens it up, so if you were just to pop the hole and use your reamer to make it the right size, you know, you'd have a really thin sort of lip that it could chip or crack easy, or it wouldn't have as much surface material when it's holding that converter joint in the future. So this is component A to making a really clutch airtight seal for your converter joint. The next part that I'm going to show you, which is going to be the really cool secret at the end of this video, is cold working technique. But it's as simple as this, folks. You make a rig, you pop the hole at the seal where the 19 mil meets the 50 by 3.5, and that way you have a 45-degree angle into the back corner of your rig. And there you see I have just a regular old 14 mil joint that is warmed up with some beeswax in it. I heat up the hole and I use that dummy joint covered in beeswax to do the final reaming out. And so this is gonna be a 10 mil rig. So I'm using a 14 mil dummy joint, okay? See that? 14 mil dummy joint because it will have a converter joint in the end. So I'm gonna get a drip tipped converter joint. You can buy them from Mountain Glass or whatever. And the 14 mil will go into that hole and it'll have a 10 mil female inside of that. You get a low pro converter joint from Mountain Glass, ABR, any one of your suppliers. And I'm just adding a couple extra dots, a little bit of flair here to finish off the rig. But it's really as simple as that, folks. And you know, like I said, this, besides accidentally filming it in slow motion and having to re-edit it and all that other bullshit, this whole piece took me less than 18 minutes to make. And I just want you to, again, focus on the style of the construction. So just like you saw in my heady piece earlier with all that dichro and stuff, any shape or can with a bubble can get a hole popped in it and become a rig with this style. And finally, to finish it off, I'm using Herbert Arnold claw grabbers, which are my total favorite. They're definitely not cheap, but they are a super clutch tool, and I believe that they hold the glass and rigs of this nature better than any other claw grabbers out there. So as far as tools go, definitely big ups to these Herbert Arnold claw grabbers. I use them every single day on every single rig that I make, and they really hold the piece really well. And so next up, I'm gonna show you a cold working secret to make sure that your rig is completely airtight with your converter joint. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you gotta switch over to Patreon to see the secret, my friend. Peace.